When We Were Young, 2024, all album plays. They're telling us we're going to see a bunch of albums. They're telling us front to back.
Allegedly.
We have to say allegedly. Unfortunately, that has not technically been announced, but we are reviewing every album being played at When We Were Young.
Yeah, is it good? Is it a flop?
We are, in this episode, reviewing Escape the Fates, This War Is Ours. Before we get into our opinions on the record, Lizzie, why don't you give us some background on this record?
This is their second album. This is the first one, though, with Bless the Falls' Craig Mabbitt on with them, because as we know, the very first album had Ronnie Radke on it. But this album came out October 21st, 2008, and debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 35. So did pretty decently. And it sold 13,000 copies its first week. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I keep wanting to say This Is War, which is the 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yes. It is something we have to talk about, that the original record of Escape the Fate, the original career starter, was Ronald J. Radke. And he left the band because he went to prison. Obviously, Ronnie, on the first record, it blew up. Like, that first record was massive.
Oh, yeah.
And like, obviously the reason they're playing this record is because they're not getting Ronnie Radke on the fucking show.
No, and we know that there's some, people in festivals and tours who will not put certain artists on a lineup. There
are a lot of controversies with him. We have other videos on the channel where we talk about some of those, and I have no interest in your comments, so please step off.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about this version of Escape the Fate, which has been around a lot longer than Ronnie was in the band. They've had a lot of member changes in general, but yeah, we're going to talk about this record, so leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you about Ronnie Radke.
I don't either.
You fools. You little jerks. Let's go ahead and talk about our thoughts on this record. Before we do, we are going through all 57 records being played at When We Were Young, so make sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss it. I know you don't. You're thinking about a record right now that you know is being played, and you're like, have they talked about this? We will, or we have.
You want to know because I know you want to jump on and say you're correct or you are violently wrong.
So subscribe, check out our playlist. It'll be in the description down below. You can check out all the videos that we've made so far. Also follow us over on TikTok and Instagram. We're posting a bunch of clips from these, and we'd love to see you and your responses and your comments over there as well. So, go ahead and check us out all over that dang old internet.
That dang
old
internet.
Here are my thoughts on Escape the Fates, This War Is Ours. Well, we were saying a second ago that the first Escape the Fate record was really big, was gigantic. Yeah. And I was absolutely a fan of that first record. So coming into this record when it came out, I was pretty stoked. I was like, I know it's not Ronnie. And at the time, I was very much a Ronnie fan of like, oh, this singer. And then he went to jail. And I was like, maybe not so much anymore. But I was really stoked and I was really excited for this record. So I picked this up right away and was checking it out right away. And I really did like it at the time. I thought so specifically at the time when this came out, who the hell is this producer? Because he's doing way too much. And this is kind of where I started going, oh, John Feldmann does too much. This was one of the records specifically where I was like, there's way too much tricks here. There's way too much going on. And it really just takes away from the song of it all. And the song really is kind of boring. A lot of the time, the song is just kind of like, oh, we're getting somewhere. It's like, nah, it's just a basic pop song with some guitars in it and some screaming maybe here and there. That was my really okay, I'm now aware of John Feldmann way too much. I listen to a lot of John Feldmann records and I like a lot of John Feldmann records. This one feels too John Feldmann. Re-listening to it now, I'm like, I'm kind of, this is a lot. There's a lot of stuff happening here that just is taking away from there being really, really good songs on the record because there's way too much production. There's way too much going on. The songs can't stand for themselves without it. The songs just aren't that good. The guitars are great. The drums are great. And it's just being kind of wasted on a lot of songs here. I would definitely say that this is a move from more emo metalcore scene into more cock rock, active rock.
Cock rock?
Dude, okay. When I talked to you about 10 Miles Wide, you understand.
No, yeah, I heard it. I was like, is this a heavy metal, hair metal
active
song?
rock, but it's 2008 active rock,
Yeah.
right? So it's like moving into that scene out of like the Warped Tour scene and more into like, I want to play big metal fests. I want to play big metal tours. I don't want to do the Warped Tour shit anymore, which I get from a sense of like, you want to grow, you want to do something better.
Like hard and active rock does pay a lot more.
I'm sure Escape the Fate has made more money doing this than they were ever going to do being on Warped Tour or pop punk shows. So obviously no shade to them for doing that.
Get your bag, Kings.
Yeah. So that's one of my biggest issues with it is the change in sound to that. And then also just the songs don't really stand on their own. My other, and this is a very small gripe, but I have to bring it up every time I have a tiny gripe. What the fuck does This War Is Ours mean? What the fuck does that mean? I don't
get what it means either.
This war is ours. That makes no sense as a sentence.
I was trying to like listen. So when I was listening to like the lyrics, I'm like, I don't understand where this war is coming from. I don't know if we ever got that answer.
So the flood is a Halo reference, I think. I think this is Halo references.
Okay.
The game Halo. That's my best. I'm not a Halo player.
It is very gamer core centric during that time.
It is. This is very gamer core. Top 3 tracks. I could not pick 3.
What?
I picked 2. I actually will throw another one in here because since listening to this, I have had another one stuck in my head that was not on my list.
Okay.
Ashley.
I did really like Ashley, surprisingly.
Ashley was a song where I was like, this is not really my style of song, but listening to it, like I actually listened to it a few times for this like re-listen, and I do really like the song around it. This is one where I think there's less overproduced shit on it. I think it just is like pretty good.
It's pretty straightforward. I feel like it blends their original sound with like pop punk during the time, and it actually does it really well. The
Flood, I also like that being the first single off of it that I heard. I was like, this is great. This is the sort of like rock, metalcore, emo thing that I was looking for in that return. The guitar riffs and all that, like bringing back that like original sound that they were doing on the first record and just doing more of that. I just didn't get a lot more of that from the record. The record itself did not provide that amount. If I Let This Go, the song title, that one has been stuck in my head a little bit since I've listened to this. So I'm going to throw that in there as like a track that I do like, because clearly I've been singing it to myself.
There you go.
I'm not saying John Feldman can't make a song that is catchy or good. I'm saying that he overproduces it. The songs are catchy. The vocals are catchy. Whatever they do on it is catchy. I'll put it that way. Maybe it's not the best songwriting, but it's good enough that it gets stuck in my head, right? So kudos to that. My least favorite tracks, I have 4.
Oh, wow.
These are ones that made me frustrated with this record. You Are So Beautiful as the worst chorus on this album. That's a rough chorus. Hearing any man sing at that tone, you are so beautiful. Like, I'm out. 10 Miles Wide. I said cock rock. This is a cock rock song. It has Josh Todd of Buckcherry on it. And I was a fan of Buckcherry at this time. Still kind of am. Still would go see Buckcherry anytime.
Go hard. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I would see Buckcherry at a moment's notice. This was very rock radio for a band that was not really like, when a band is trying to do rock radio.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes songs like this are like, you're out of your depth. You're out of your range. You are that emo band. You are that up and coming like punk ethos band. And now you're like doing this song with Buckcherry. And I'm like, and it's not that good.
I haven't listened to literally any other Escape the Fate albums after this in my entire life because I never had a personal want or need to do that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And so this could have been their one album that was like that bridge to get to that hard active rock, radio rock, like maybe that they really wanted. Because now I feel like every single year, even if they don't put on anything new, they're on this like Rock on the Range or Louder Than Life, anything like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're still here. I've never seen Escape the Fate live in my life either, but they're on all these other either tours or on these festival sets. So I feel like this, if anything, potentially bridge that gap for them.
Oh, they had that success. So my opinion on these songs is irrelevant. They've had success. They don't need me. I was a fan of the early stuff. If they wanted to change it, I'm not going to come around liking stuff that I'm not into. Harder Than You Know, the sort of like ballad at the end of the album. When we talked about the other John Feldman record we've talked about so far, The Used and Love and Death, there's a song Hard to Say on that. And we said, it's a little bit, Like the lyrics are kind of not that great. It's slow. It doesn't really need to be. Like, what's this record doing?
It's like they threw in a ballad just to say, hey, we're going to go with the formulaic setup here. But it's like we didn't need to do that, though.
This is literally, when we say formulaic, it's formulaic. It's like, oh, we got to have that ballad in there. You know, there's got to be that little thing. And the last song, It's Just Me, is what I was also describing about that used record. Lunacy Fringe is that like I'm a Psycho Killer type song.
Yeah.
That's what this is too. And I'm like, John Feldman, you have these songs that you're like, oh, we need this, we need this, we need this.
It was hot for the time. What do you mean?
It was though. It absolutely was. And it's not good. That's the thing. It's like,
I feel like we're going to disagree.
That's fine. That's fine. But like, listening back to it now, even listening to it at the time, I'm like, it's a little bit like, I'm an evil circus clown. Ooh, I'm sneaking from your bedroom.
That
and
was
I'm
like
stab
half
you.
of the
like,
scene aesthetic, Brian.
I know, but it was dumb. It was dumb.
I just feel like you didn't get into Asylum Core right, is what I'm feeling here.
What the fuck is Asylum Core? You didn't get into Asylum Core, and no one should have, Lizzie. I followed the fucking path. We are straying so far from God. Yeah, I think overall, my take on this record is I really liked it at the time, and I think I've just very much grown away from this. I do not have the same nostalgia for this record that I would for their first record. Obviously, they're not going to play that, so we can scratch that idea. But this record just has not stayed as strong as maybe I felt about it when it first came out. And yeah, John Feldman, you gotta pull it back, bro. Pull it back, dude.
I never listened to Escape the Fate. Me and my friends listened to like Situations, and that was like our friend group's song.
Yeah.
But that was obviously Ronnie Radke. It wasn't new Escape the Fate.
Right.
It never crossed my mind. I never wanted to listen to it to begin with. It was just never a topic of conversation among me and my friends more often than not.
Right.
So overall with this, when I was listening to it, the opening track, I was impressed. Then it goes into Ashley, and you liked Ashley. And I was like, yeah, I think this is a really cute, it's a really good pop punk song that has their own fuse of energy into it. And it works really well. This is probably the most collaborative, like fine tuning of both genres I've really ever like heard from a lot of different artists. So I was really impressed by it. My other top was On to the Next one. I stopped and I was like, is this the Panic at the Disco song? That's not a bad thing, but I was so confused. I thought I had put on like a weird mix where I hit something on my computer on Spotify. And I did like It's Just Me because it sounded like the Venetian Affair.
I hear you on that. It does sound like the Venetia Fair. If you don't know the Venetia Fair, go listen to them.
Yeah, go listen to them.
Great band. I will give you that because they are that band who is like, we are Psycho Killers. And they actually are like good at it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it's not like one song. It's like, that's our album. That's our sound. It's our vibe. Yeah. I didn't like it, but I'm going to give you credit on it.
My absolute NOS were Harder Than You Know. Again, I don't like slow songs.
It's just not a good slow song either.
Yeah. I like re-listen to it just to like see, because overall this album, surprisingly, I enjoyed it. I was shocked. I was thoroughly shocked.
I'm shocked too.
I know. And I thought you were going to be like, I still love this album.
Yeah, I know.
Let It Go was also one. It just was kind of meh to me. It was just very traditional, hard radio rock to me.
Yeah.
It didn't stand out. And then Something, it just sounds like they made a pop punk song just to try to say they're pop punk for some reason when this didn't need to be here. It just oddly plays. And it's one thing if you have it layered between different songs where if you listen to it in order, if you hear it sonically and it fits, like say if you put it after Ashley and then you had some other song that was more pop punk, for example, after it would make sense. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Surprisingly, on which way, we liked this.
Yeah, no, I really was shocked.
Yeah. Our opinions are not the only opinions that matter here. There are plenty of people who are going to be going to When We Were Young. So we have pulled Amazon reviews, and we have pulled some critical reviews from that time, from whenever, somebody had something to say about it and they wrote it down on their notebook.
Through the years
in their diary. I'm going to read a couple reviews from Amazon that were written about this record. This review is from February of 2010. The reviewer is Jeff Ranta. 5-star review. This is rock at its best.
Okay.
First of all, This War Is Ours rocks. Forget all the crap about changing singers and not being the same band anymore. Does it really matter? The fact is, Craig Mabbitt is a better singer than Ronnie Radke was anyways. Craig has more range and a much better rock voice. You can't blame Escape the Fate for changing singers anyways. The former singer went to prison and before that was not allowed to leave the state of Nevada. If you know anything about music, you know that touring is everything. How can you tour if you can't leave the state of Nevada? Anyways, this CD is my favorite rock CD ever. Yeah, that's right. Ever. It is fully equipped with guitar solos and sleaze rock attitude that they didn't have with this former singer at all. The title track guitar work reminds me of Iron Maiden, and Craig's voice in the chorus is just the icing on the cake. Seriously, this CD does not have any skippable tracks. It is an excellent rock CD and has not left my car player for 6 months. This is the prototype for a 5-star rock disc. Buy it.
5-star rock disc.
5-star rock disc. It's my nickname from college. This is a review from October 27th, 2008 by Vinny. 2-star review. Are you kidding me? This album is average at the very best. Gotta love seeing kids on here raving about an album that pretty much sucks. I read reviews on here. Whoa, wow, OMG intense. OMG, I just got an orgasm. Get real,
what?
Please.
Hello?
Teeny boppers don't know anything. There is only 2 good tracks on this album, so if you like fillers, then you will enjoy this. It sounds nothing like the old Escape the Fate. People say don't expect them to sound like the old thing. Well, if they were going to change, might as well have changed the band's name. Yes, I listen to a lot of music, but I can honestly say this was a disappointment. Now, all you kiddies go and listen to a real band like the Deftones. Arrow's coming out soon. Yeah, baby.
Can we go back to the...
No, we're moving forward.
Are you...
I don't know. 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 I don't know.
Okay. So we also wanted to look up critical reviews. So this one comes from Sputnik by After the Ascension in 2008. 3.5 out of 5 stars. They put a TLDR at the top, an underrated album that is solid but still flawed. Post-hardcore sure has a habit of getting controversy started up. A lot of ricecore, or crabcore, as some people endearingly call it, is hated on for the cookie-cutter music style and often sometimes embarrassing image. That's not to say that the genre itself is perfect, but I personally find it to be too controversial. Their first album, however, seems to have received plenty of good reviews and not enough distaste for it. Honestly, it's terrible. Ronnie Radke is not a good vocalist at all, and quite frankly, the album didn't suit his vocal style anyway. X amount of time after, Ronnie left and went to Falling in Reverse. Shudders violently is in... He was replaced with a different vocalist. The band benefited from it, contrary to the band's fan base opinions. This War Is Ours has several bad songs, but the entertaining songs in the album make up for them. This War Is Ours is an excellent metalcore track, and their post-hardcore tracks are proficient. You know, I like the Shudders violently. Whew. I mean, you know what? I get it. Yeah.
The time has come. We've heard all the thoughts. We've heard all the takes, but we have to answer the question, should you see Escape the Fates, This War Is Ours at When We Were Young Fest 2024? I'm going to say no for me. I really liked this record. They've had a lot of company changes. There's been a lot of movement.
A lot of company changes.
Yeah, a lot of movement in this band.
New acquisitions, if you will.
New acquisitions, new losses, no profits. I think a lot of the nostalgia is not there for me. I don't feel strongly about this record in the Escape the Fate catalog. I wouldn't mind if I walked by it and caught a song. If I caught Ashley or The Flood, I wouldn't be upset. But this is definitely not one of the ones I'm going to seek out on the fest. So yeah, I guess just over time, this record just is going to fell out of favor with me. And I'm like, I'm good, man.
I don't think I would go see it because it's not a band I've ever really dived into or listened to fully. If another band that I really like is on at the same time, I would still like to finally see them live because I feel like I missed out on something.
Maybe.
And I never listened to any other Escape the Fate songs akin to their first album and now this album. So I would want to see it in like a venue experience, or at the very least, not when we were young festival setting. I would say, okay, if there's nobody else against it, I could go and check out some of it.
If you're at the Octane Radio sponsored Louder Than Laugh, you're down there louder
and
than laugh.
don't worry, right afterwards, Skillet joins us on stage.
We got Skillet, Escape the Fight. Those are our thoughts. Were we right? Were we wrong? Let us know in the comments. Drop a line. Let us know what you think. Make sure to go down there and subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out, the next review that we do. There's a lot that we do like, there's some that we don't, and that's okay. And you want to make sure that you hear when we talk about your favorite record, because what if I talk mad shit and then you got to come to the comments?
You have to fight Brian in the comments, because also he's the only one responding to you.
For now, that's it. Escape the Fate. This War Is Ours. When We Were Young 2024. We will see you there.